In 2024, nearly 23% of employees identified they had a disability. So even if you don't realize it, there's a good chance someone you work with is impacted by a disability. Today, we're going to break down ways to celebrate two Heritage Months associated with disability: National Disability Employment Awareness Month in October, and Disability Pride in July. Hi, I'm Ariel with Unexpected Virtual Tours and Training, where we host radically creative virtual experiences and cultural training events for remote and hybrid teams. Today, we are talking about National Disability Employment Awareness Month in October and Disability Pride in July, and how companies can honor these two heritage months. So click that like button, subscribe to our channel, and let's get started. All right, let's start with the difference between these two months. National Disability Employment Awareness Month, also known as NDEAM, is held in October. It helps build understanding of the experience of living with a disability. Disability Pride Month in July is a declaration of identity, community, and resistance, showing disability as a natural and valuable part of human diversity. So awareness is about learning and bringing attention to disabled identity. Pride is about honoring identity and reframing disability as something to embrace. Both months to recognize disability should not be considered something to hide or fix. Both are equally important. Emily Ladau, author of Demystifying Disability, explained that awareness should be the first step, not the end goal. Now that we understand the difference between NDEAM and Disability Pride, let's take a look at some ways in which your organization can honor both of these months in a way that's meaningful, educational, and truly inclusive. First, host a guest speaker. One of the most impactful things you can do is invite someone with lived experience and expertise to speak with your team. This might be a disability rights advocate, an educator, a disability studies scholar, or someone with a powerful personal story to share. Hearing these perspectives helps move conversations about disability from abstract ideas to real human connection, and it can leave a lasting impression. To that end, would love to suggest Unexpected Virtual Tours, Impactful Disability Pride Virtual Tours, which shares the stories of the individuals and coalitions who have fought for the civil rights for disabled people from the 1600s to the present. Learn about leaders like Alice Wong and Jennifer Keelan while getting a live streaming look at the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial, the first memorial to honor a disabled person in the National Mall. 78% of employees who attended this one-hour experience reported a greater feeling of belonging at their company, and 93% would recommend this training session to a friend or colleague. Second, consider how to incorporate accessibility or inclusion training in your own work. This might involve walking through what it means to create accessible spaces, not just physical environments, but also digital tools, communication styles, and policies. For example, is your website screen reader friendly? Do your presentations include captions or visual descriptions? A short training can open eyes and spark long-term improvements. And are your hiring and promotion processes free of subtle, unintentional discrimination against disability? Should check. Try doing an intentional survey of your workplace, school, or public building. What might be difficult for someone using a wheelchair? What about someone who's blind, maybe deaf or neurodivergent? Consider things like signage, doors, restrooms, technology, and lighting. Sometimes even small changes like adjusting lighting or adding visual cues can make a big difference. If you're looking for a hands-on project, consider partnering with a local makerspace or design lab to create tactile tools like 3D printed maps or signage for blind or low vision individuals. This is especially helpful in schools, museums, and other public spaces. It's a tangible way to make inclusion useful. Another meaningful activity is to create a space where people can share their stories. This might be a panel discussion, a small group conversation, or even a visual storytelling event. If people on your team or in your company or community are open to sharing their experiences with disability, that space can help build trust, deepen empathy, and create a sense of belonging. But be mindful about othering those team members or not utilizing the space respectfully and with kindness. And if you invite a team member to speak, make sure you extend this invitation broadly. You don't want to tokenize your disabled colleagues. If your team wants to learn more, launch a book or film club, maybe even host it for that month. There are so many incredible stories told by and about people with disabilities. Two great starting points are the anthology, Disability Visibility, that's edited by Alice Wong, or the documentary Crip Camp, which explores the early disability rights movement. Afterwards, invite participants to share reflections and questions in an open discussion. And finally, don't forget the importance of recognizing the history and legacy of the disability rights movement. You can share stories of key moments, like the Capitol Crawl in 1990, or the passage of the Americans with Disability Act. Display the Disability Pride flag, or maybe highlight milestones in your newsletter or office space. This is a powerful reminder that access and inclusion are the result of decades of advocacy and activism, and we all benefit from that legacy. Whether you try one idea or several, the most important thing is to begin. Disability, pride, and NDEAM, they're not just about raising awareness. They're about creating a culture of respect, accessibility, and inclusion. By being intentional and curious, we can each play a part in building more welcoming spaces where everyone feels valued. Thank you for being part of that work, and thank you for taking the time to learn, reflect, and act. We invite you to tell us how you're creating inclusivity in your workspace. You know the comments section right down below. And check out the links we've included in the description. For even more free resources or information about our live virtual experiences, check out our website. We're at unexpectedvirtualtours.com. Let's continue to celebrate and learn from the vast diversity that makes up our world together, and we'll see you next time.